Hey everyone. I'm just getting everything set up. I got some containers here and I'm going to be doing a little bit more of the setup with you guys on the live today. We're going to be making some milk soaps. This will be a little bit different from what I normally do, so you'll get to see a whole new technique. I'm just going to grab a few last minute things. Hi Stacy. Hi Tanya. Welcome. I'm just making the milk soaps today. I'm going to be grabbing some things here. I thought I would get some of the prep done with you guys on the live. That should give everybody a few minutes to hop on. Hi Jill. How are you guys doing? Am I ready for Christmas? Yeah, I think so. I'm ready for it to be here. I don't know if I'm ever fully, ready. I always feel like, oh, there's this I could do or that I could do. But yes. How about you guys? Are you guys all ready for Christmas and the New Year? Glad to hear you're ready. Yeah, it's not quite Christmas Eve either over here. Well, let me go grab the frozen milk and stuff real quick. I just need to step away for a moment. I didn't want to get it out until we were ready because it will start to melt. So I'll be right back. Okay. I'm just going to put on some gloves. And we can start weighing out the frozen milk. So the reason I'm making a milk soap, I don't think have I ever made a milk soap? I don't think I have, not for my channel, because I try to make them vegan to I've made like almond milk soaps and things, but this is a true milk soap. um I have a friend who needed basically some facial type bars. So we're going to do charcoal, and we're going to do kaolin clay, and we're going to do tea tree oil, and like I said, she needed them to be milk soap. So I've got some fresh milk, and I've got my oils already mixed in. We're going to do kind of a large batch, and she likes the ovals. So I've got these are the hard plastic oval trays that once I pour the soaps in here, they I have to put them in the freezer to get them out. So just getting the dust off of these. Some of them got a little bit dusty in storage. There we go. I'm going to keep these handy. Once I start, once I make the soap and start pouring them, I'm going to need some level places to set them down. So, because there's going to be quite a few. And this is going to be a larger batch than usual. And instead of making 2 separate batches like a sane person, I'm going to make 1 large batch and then just break it off into 2. That's normally how I do the larger batches. And a lot of times I'll pour these like into little square molds like I usually make. But since she wants rounds, we'll do rounds. Or ovals, I mean. Let's see here. Okay. So what I'll do first is, just to get this part out of the way, is I'm going to put the charcoal and the clay into these 2 different containers, and we will put in a little bit of olive oil and stuff. And I think when I blew the dust out, I blew it right into this bowl. That was not smart. Okay, so that's clean. I'll double check this one. Yep. And this one's fine. Okay. All right, so first, let me get the charcoal. Have you guys ever used milk soaps before? They can be really creamy. I know a lot of people really like them. Okay, so here's, now the charcoal I put it in a separate container. So I'm just going to pour that in. There we go. Stacy, that's cute. I was asking if you guys had tried milk soaps before. So there's the charcoal. I'll mix in a little olive oil to help it disperse into the soap a little easier. This is going to absorb a lot of liquid. Here, there's the oil. And I'm just gonna, here, I'll move it over here. I'm just going to mix this in. It has a consistency of like cake batter almost. Okay. Camel milk. I don't know anybody who keeps camels, but I will have to look out for that. That would be a lot of fun. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can't let my cat out either. I don't trust the drivers on the road to not run them over, so they stay inside. Alright, so there's that one, and then I'll put the what I'll do for the kaolin is I'll also put in a little bit of titanium dioxide because she likes them white. The white soaps to be a little more white, and this will just help it look more white. So put a little bit of that in. There we go. Well, as far as so my beef with the whole FDA says it's illegal to do XYZ, I would look into that. I mean, if you're gonna go buying milk, they probably say the wording. I haven't seen the law, so this is just my hashtag not legal advice. This is just my uninformed opinion here, but it's probably labeled some or worded something like, not approved for sale or maybe even illegal to sell for consumption. That's probably what it says, like for food. I don't see how it could be illegal to add into soap or something like that. Doesn't make any sense to me. Because of like even like for example cow's milk, you can get like raw cow's milk, for example. You might not be able to like go to the store. It might be illegal to like sell it for like normal human consumption without it being pasteurized, but you can get it other ways. Like you can get it through a herd share, or you can have it. You can still. It's not illegal to drink. It's just illegal to sell it for It's illegal to sell it for human consumption, but you can sell it for pet milk. Like for example, if you raise cows, let's say you raise cows and somebody's cow gave birth and then the mother won't nurse the baby. Well, what are you going to do? You can't let that calf just starve to death. So you can buy raw goat's milk from somebody else who has a cow and feed it to your calf, and that's completely legal. It's just illegal for to sell for human consumption as like a food product. Yeah, there's a kaolin clay and a little bit of titanium dioxide. So I have a feeling that the camel milk is probably the same. I'm assuming you can get it. They probably just don't want you selling it for human consumption. At least I hope so, because otherwise I'm gonna have to. Because I really want to try that now that camel milk sounds like a lot of fun. But if it's illegal, that's going to make it a lot harder to try. Or I could just find somebody who has a camel and just ask them for some milk to put in the soap. All right, so here is the oil in with the kaolin clay and the little bit of titanium dioxide, and I'll mix this in. This will probably get thicker because of the clay. Yeah, it's already thickening up. Yeah, that's really thick. That's like a paste. See what you guys are saying here. Freeze dried, interesting. I'll have to look into that. what I can do for this clay, since it's got clay, I'm going to put a little bit of water in here to help loosen that up. This is just distilled water. Because normally when I make the soap, I don't put the full water amount in anyway. Since, getting it exact is a pain, and it's just going to evaporate out anyway after the soap is made. There we go. Yeah, it's still a little bit thick. I'll put a little bit more. And this is one of those things where, I don't need this to be any certain amount of water to how do I put this? Because of how dry it is, I'll probably need more water than say I would on a humid day. Because I only want this just loose enough to mix into the soap, into the oils. I don't need this to be really runny. Yeah, it's already looking better. Okay. It's starting to move at least, so that's good. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Oklahoma, I know that in certain parts of the United States there are actually wild camels running around. I don't know if that's Oklahoma. I think there were some in places like maybe Arizona or Nevada or something. There literally were wild camels running around. I wonder if they made their way up to Oklahoma. Yeah, Tanya. What Tanya's saying, it makes the milk just in general seems to make the soap more creamy. I bet the camel soap would definitely do that, or camel milk, I mean, would do that. Milk also is really rich. It has a lot of vitamins in it, and um, certain fats, or excuse me, certain milks have a high fat content, which is nice in the milk. I mean, in the soap, because soap basically is just that. It's fats and fats in a lye solution. Yeah, I've been to Oklahoma. I remember I didn't stay very long, but I remember it being there was a lot of red soil. Yes, donkey milk. I bought a soap from somebody that had donkey milk in it. That looked really cool. It wouldn't be hard for some camels to sneak in. Just some undocumented camels. All right, so that's mixed. This one's mixed. Okay, so let's get the milk weighed. So I'm going to put my scale here. Yeah, the red clay. Yeah, it was really fascinating. There were places where we drove past where they were digging. I don't know if they were doing construction or if they were literally digging up the clay, but um, the different parts where they were digging in the ground really exposed the red dirt. It looked really cool. Oh, that's a shame. Really, it shifts a lot. I really like having a basement. I don't know if I could, would be happy giving up a basement. Okay, let me just check here. on the water weight. Okay, so we're going to turn this on. And I'm just going to weigh out, this milk. And what I do is I put the milk into ice cube trays and freeze it like this. This helps it not to scorch so bad. I have done this without freezing it. I mean, you can do it, but sometimes it will make the soap come out with a little bit of more of a yellow tint than you want. Okay, I need more than this. Okay, and then the last couple ounces. Let's see, what are you saying here? Oh, you're saying about the basement. Okay. I'm going to put in a tiny bit of water with this, and the reason I do that is because it helps the lye get going. If I don't do this, it just seems to take longer, but it's only like an ounce or two of water, and this is distilled water. Okay, there we go. That is plenty. Okay. I'm going to put these back in the freezer so that they don't melt. I'll be right back. Hi, Becky. Welcome. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I'm going to put on the face shield as well. Might as well get started on that. Okay. So now that I got this in here, I'm going to add the lye. I'm going to, well, I guess I can just leave it here. That's probably fine. Oh, wow. The camera is really crooked. Hold on, guys. Let me fix you. There we go. I was wondering why everything looked wonky on the screen. All right, that's better. Oh yeah, Stacy, we are going to be doing a tea tree oil because she wanted facial bars, so I thought that would be what most people think of for facial bars. All right, let's see here. I'm going to put the lye in. I'm just going to put it in since this is frozen. 1 second here. I need a little bit more, so I will. Let me see here. Well, looks like I'm going to have to open the bucket. This might be a little bit loud, so just a heads up. There we go. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Okay, I'm going to refill this little container while I'm sitting here. Little unplanned extra prep here. This bucket is nearly empty, so probably going to have to open my new one soon. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties here for a second. All right. I'm going to stir this up while it's sitting here. Just so it doesn't get all stuck on the bottom. So normally what I do is I stir it up a little bit, then I let it sit for a second, and I stir it up a little, let it sit, stir it up a little, let it sit, because I have to get this milk to melt. Hold on a sec here. It needs to melt and dissolve the lye. So okay, there we go. We'll give that a couple more minutes here. It's going to finish filling this container. All the behind the scenes stuff you normally don't see. Exciting things like filling containers. All right. That's taken care of. Okay. I get my lye online. I get it different places, just depends. For a long time, I was getting it on eBay. You can get it off of Amazon. You can sometimes even get it at the store. I've heard the stores sell it, although I've never looked for it there, so I can't really confirm. But I've heard from other people they've been able to get it at big box stores. Okay, I don't know if you can tell, but the ice is starting to melt this. Or not the ice, excuse me. The lye is starting to melt the ice. The little ice cubes are getting smaller. And this is a stainless steel spoon. So whenever you work with lye, you want to use either stainless steel, plastic, or glass. I guess you could probably use ceramic too, but I wouldn't. I haven't tried it. So that's going to need a few minutes to finish melting. So what I'm going to do is just going to check everything. Here's the oils. Now, since this is a larger batch, I'm putting it in a bucket like this. These are some buckets that I only use for soaping and nothing else. And these are really nice because they are life safe, and I can put the like the solid oils in here, and then I have a great big pot that I can fill with hot water, and then I can just float this bucket in the hot water and do it's almost like a double boiler method, except I'm not boiling it, and then just gently melt the oils that way. And then so that, then I can just leave it on the table here. It usually stays liquid for quite a while. This is still relatively warm. I can feel the warmth coming off of it still, even though it's been sitting here for about half an hour, a little over half an hour. Oh, thank you, Stacy. Yeah, I'm sure the scents I use are safe. Are you talking about like wax melts? Because they should work for that. I know for sure that the scents I get from Wellington, they even sell the stuff to make the wax melt, so she could go there. The other ones I get from Nurture Soap, I don't know if they have candles, like notes for the candle making on there or not. I haven't checked that out, but she could certainly look into it. And the micas and stuff that I use can be used for melts. I've seen people put a lot of cute things in melts. Sometimes I'll buy the melts and they're colored with mica, so that way when they melt, they have like this pretty like swirled, like sparkly swirl in the melter. They'll also put things like glitter and stuff in them. You could probably put, I don't know, I'm guessing you could probably put dried flowers in there too. I mean, since you clean out the wax melter every time, it probably would be fine. Especially for personal use, it'd be fine, I'm sure. Of course, there's probably something on the, the wax melt burner thing, the melter, that says something like, don't put dried flowers in here because it'll catch on fire. But if she reads any like the warnings or anything to put on there, it'll probably tell her whether or not she could put stuff like dried flowers in there. All right, I'll put my stick blender together. And what I want to do with the essential oil is I'm going to put it in the colors individually when I go to mix them. That way, in case it accelerates, it won't all go solid on me. Melts were the first thing you made? That's cool, Tanya. That's something I wanted to get into eventually, like just for my own personal self, because I like melting. I have a little candle melter. I'm allergic to smoke, so I can't really burn candles anymore. But I like the scent from the candles, so I got one of the little wax melt thingies, and that was really fun. But what I've been doing is, after my wax melts, like once they lose their scent, instead of throwing away the wax, I've been saving it. I have this glass like Pyrex container I've been saving it in, and what my plan is once I use them up, or once the jar gets full, whichever, I'll melt it down and try making some of my own wax melts with it. Alright, this is taking a long time to melt, but it's getting there. So there's like little tiny pieces of ice floating in there now, and a couple of bigger chunks that are just kind of taking their time. What are your favorite scents for the wax melts? Oh yeah, I've done cross stitching. I have some completed projects and some half completed projects that I probably should finish because I don't know how much longer I'll be able to do it. I'm sorry to hear you can't do it anymore though. I've seen some really creative cross stitch projects. They have some really fun stuff you can put in the cross stitch patterns now. I saw things like metallic thread and beads and stuff, and there's some really cute things you can make. I moved on to other crafts. What are you doing now? Coconut cream. So Tanya said the fragrances she liked were coconut cream, honey I washed the kids, musk, let's see, sweet pea, jasmine, and you said you made about 20 or so other ones. I heard about that honey I washed the kids. I think one of the last streams I think you mentioned it or somebody did. It's one that sounds like it smells really good. Yeah, Becky, it's really hard on the eyes. You got to be able to see little tiny, especially if you use regular fabric instead of the cross stitch fabric. It's so hard to see the little holes. I've seen these big magnifying glasses you can get that you can work under, but that may not help. Knitting and macrame. I knitted a blanket once, but it took a long time. I ended up going back to crochet, I think, because of that. Although I will say that the knitting, the feel of the blanket that's knitted is a completely different feel from the crocheted blanket. And I haven't done any macrame projects, although I have seen some really awesome projects. Fleece blankets, that would be really nice this time of year. And wood furniture. I haven't made furniture yet. I have done some smaller wood projects, so I made shelves. I've done some other like little things. And the diamond painting sounds fun. And I've done a little bit of resin. But I have a specific project in mind that I want to try soon. Knitting clothes. See, that would be really cool. I think it'd be nice to make a sweater because then I can make it exactly how I want. But that is for when I have a little bit more time. Okay, so this is still taking its time melting. It only feels slightly warm, very slightly warm. So this should be melted soon. Yeah, Tanya, the resin can be a lot of fun. I've well, of course, we have Felicia's channel. By the way, if I forgot to mention this last time, if any of you guys have a channel you can go ahead and put a heart by your name. I know Felicia does that, so she said I could use her idea. I thought that'd be a lot of fun. You can even, if it'll let you, you can link it or put the name of your channel in. Um, but yeah, resin is fun. I've seen a lot of people doing like jewelry and like coasters and stuff, like practical projects, which is cool because not only can you make just pieces of art, but you can also make a lot of functional art with it. It's the same idea as like crochet and knitting and stuff, where you have something functional at the end, like clothing or a blanket or something, but it's also art. But I would definitely say start small because it's expensive to. If you buy all the shinies, then it costs a lot, and then you've got a ton of stuff. Wow, Stacy, that's awesome. I think it'd be cool to make a table. I've seen some really pretty handmade tables out there that are way, way out of my skill, ability. But well, that's cool, Becky. Yeah, but a lot of the shelters are something that people don't always think about, but they definitely need supplies. One of the shelters here was saying they needed cat litter. It was something that they always seem to be low on. I know a lot of them will accept things like food, unopened food bags, and then of course bedding and stuff for the pets, especially during the winter when it's colder. This last piece of frozen milk is just super, super stubborn. I may have to just pour this and strain out the last chunks of ice if it doesn't melt, because yeah, I'm probably gonna strain it anyway, just because it's the way it's looking. I'm just reading the comments real quick. Well, that's great, Stacy. Yeah, a lot of times making something yourself can save a lot of money. Um, I know that finding furniture, like I haven't bought new furniture in a long time, but that's just because my taste is so different from what stores sell. There have been times where I thought, gee, I wish I could make furniture because it would be cheaper, but then I'd also get it to look the way I wanted. But I don't have any of the tools or anything I would need to do it. I'm gonna go grab the strainer, so I will be right back. I'm just gonna set down this microphone real quick. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and strain this into the oils, and then I'm going to need to take the strainer to the sink to rinse it off. So this will take a couple of minutes. I'm just going to pour that in, then I'll come back and we can mix this up. So this is the milk with the lye, in case anybody came in late. I'm going to strain it into the oils, and then from there we can divide it up. So once I do this, um, it'll once I strain this into the oils and start mixing and stuff, it's going to go quick because I won't be able to stop at that point. So I'm just going to let you know what I'm doing. Um, so I'm going to mix this up to get it just blended together roughly, and then I'm going to pour about half into the bowl that has the charcoal, and then whatever the other half or whatever into the bowl that has the kale and clay, and then I will stick blend those, and I will add the tea tree oil, and then after that I will pour them into the molds. Okay. Let me just check your comments real quick before I do this. Oh yeah, Stacy, my cat loves fleece blankets. Thanks, Jill. Have a great Christmas. Alright guys, just a sec here. I'm gonna pour this in. So I'm gonna pour this, then I'll divide it up, mix and add the fragrance and everything, pour it into molds. So I'm just gonna use a strainer real quick. It'll get out anything that didn't dissolve. It'll also take out the ice that didn't melt. So this will be real quick here. Whoops. Just gotta put the spoon in there since it's not cooperating. All right, here we go. All right, there's that ice. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Okay, so some of the lye was, there's a lot of milk fat, and some of it already was turning to soap in there. So that's why I knew I just had to strain this and get going before it got too thick. Oh, Stacy, so you said, what exactly does a lye do? So lye does a lot of things, but for the soap, it reacts with the oils, and that's what turns the oils into soap. You can use it for cleaning. You can use it for other things. It's a very caustic substance, though, so it'll burn you. It'll burn your skin. That's why we wear gloves. That's why I wear a face shield, just to protect my eyes. It'll cause chemical burns, I should say, not like fire, but I mean, I guess it could cause a fire. But it gets very hot when you mix it with liquids. All right. And soap is actually, it's basically like a salt, a type of salt. So this, it's causing, the lime mixed with the oils causes it to go from being one type of thing to another. So it causes the oil from being an oil and turns it into a salt, essentially. It's really cool. Okay, I think this will hold together enough for me to, I'm going to do more blending, obviously, but oops, trying not to bonk the camera. Okay. This is a little bit bigger container than I usually work with on the camera, so all right, let's get this mixed here. Make sure the oils are still mixed in with that. I'll pour a little off into there. Hopefully you guys can, yeah, you can see that. Okay, good. Okay, here's some, and this doesn't have to be like an exact half and half. I'm just going roughly. Anyways, all right, there we go. Whoops. And then I'll put a little bit more in the white. Rinse this off real quick. Use the term rinse lightly. Okay. Put some more in the white here. There we go. That's good. All right. And then I'm going to get this spatula here and scrape it out of the bucket into the container. And I'm going to do the white first just because if a little bit of the white gets into the charcoal soap, it's not going to matter. But if the black gets into the clay soap, then it'll turn it gray. And I don't want gray soap. So, all right. I'm going to use this whisk first to kind of scrape along the bottom, make sure we get everything so it's not stuck. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing here. Just kind of loosely mix my hand first, and then we'll come back to that one in a minute. All right, so this, I'm just going to scrape and make sure we get everything up off the bottom. This isn't necessary. I'm just doing it because I want to. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to blend this. Whoops. Okay, that's starting to thicken up. I'm going to put in the oil before I forget. So there's that. That is a tea tree essential oil. And I'm going to mix that in real fast. Okay. Now, I move this out of the way, and we will get these little molds here. Okay, I'm going to pour this in. Well, actually, that has some soap batter in it. Let me wipe that out. Okay. Some of that charcoal soap batter was in there. All right, so I'm going to pour this in. And we're just going to fill these up and set them aside. And I'll tap them down to make sure they're somewhat level. This one needs a little bit more. Okay. And so that's it for that tray. And what I'll do is I'll just set these aside. And then probably tonight I will put them in the freezer once they've firmed up enough to survive the freezer. I don't excuse me, I don't normally put them in the freezer to before, because okay, so I'm gonna explain. A lot of times when people make milk soaps, they don't want them to go through gel. So what they'll do to prevent them from getting too hot is they will immediately, like for example, we poured these, and then immediately they'll put them in either the freezer or the refrigerator to prevent them from, gelling. I don't bother with these usually because they're so small, they're individual bars. They don't usually get hot enough for it to matter. So I just go ahead and let them sit on the counter or wherever like this, and then make sure this is still liquid. Okay. I'll leave them on the counter like this, and then once they firm up, I can then stack them in the freezer, and they won't damage each other. Because if you put them in there liquid, I mean, there's no way I could fit all these trays full of soap in my freezer because it's full of other frozen things. And anyway, so if I wait until they firm up a little bit, then I can actually stack them on top of each other. And usually I'll offset them, like I'll put them this way so they're not resting directly on each other. I'll put them, I don't know, like that, on top of each other in the freezer. And that does a really good job. I'm going to put this in. And then the reason we put them in the freezer is so that they'll come out of these containers easily. Because if I don't do that, normally what happens is if I don't put them in the freezer, then usually they stay, it's not that they stay soft, but they're easy to damage because they're so like really ultra creamy that when I try to take them out of the mold, they kind of get dented looking. But if I freeze them, then I turn the mold upside down, they just fall right out of the mold. Or they'll at least pop out easily most of the time. And that saves me a lot of time, frankly, and trouble and whatnot. Okay, so that's clean. Whoops. And then I'll go ahead and scrape the rest of this out and put this in. But yeah, a lot of people, if they make their milk soaps in like a mold or something, they'll stick it in the fridge or in the freezer to avoid the soap overheating or scorching it. And that's completely fine. You can always do that. But I just found I haven't needed to. It always comes out really nice without it. I just put it in the end. At the end after it's solid, I put it in the freezer so it can come out of the mold easier. Okay. Now, since this one is half full, what I might do is when I make the black soap, I'll pour it over the top so you have like a half and half bar, just because it'll look neat. All right. Okay, so those are all set aside. Now we got to do the black soaps. And these have charcoal in them, like you saw. And I'll just clean this off as best as I can. Okay. All right. I'm just scraping everything up off the bottom, just because. And I'm going to mix it again. And this is actually already quite thick. I may not be able to stick blend that. We'll see. But I will stick blend in. Well, I guess I have to because of the oil. I want the fragrance to disperse properly. So here's that. There's the fragrance. Or actually, it's an essential oil. But yeah, fragrance. Okay. Yeah, that helped loosen it up a lot. Okay. I'm going to set this in the bucket out of the way. Whoops. And this also out of the way. Okay, let's go ahead and mix this up. Okay, that should be plenty. And I will check on the chat in just a minute after I get this all wiped clean. All right, much better. All right, so here's for the black trays. Okay. Oops. Overfilled that one a tiny bit. That's okay though. Put this in. Also, the natural sugars and stuff in the milk make it lather up really nice, which is always a plus. So these will have a lot of lather. These smell really good. Oh wait, let me tap it. There we go. Okay. Just get this. But anyway, these molds are, you can see some of these are more yellow than others because they're aging quite a bit. And that makes them brittle. So I have to be real careful with these. Some of them are already cracking, but they get a lot of use. I think these are really meant for, somebody who just makes soap as a hobby, like occasionally they just make a few bars now and then. But when I make these soaps, these oval soaps, I'll sometimes make 100 at a time, 100 bars at a time, I mean, and I don't think they're meant for that kind of work. So they put up a little bit of a fight, meaning, I guess not really put up a fight. They deteriorate more quickly than I would like, I guess. It's a better way to put it, but what I should probably do is eventually replace these with the silicone ones. But that is a project for another day. If I could also get the silicone ones at like a more reasonable price too, because a lot of times they are 3 to 4 times as much as these plastic ones. Okay. Okay, I just need, there we go. It looks like I just need one more. Okay, yeah, see how this is like cracking? So that's what happens to them after a few uses. This one's even worse. You can see the whole thing. I'll put the black behind it so you can see. But you can see how badly that's coming apart. All right, so I'll fill these other ones first. And putting them in the freezer doesn't help either. I mean, the going from freezing temperatures to room temperature back to freezing temperatures is not good for the plastic. Okay, whoops. Oh, we were going to put I was going to put the rest of this on the that small white bar, but that's okay. She will still be able to use the small bar. So okay. And then these will just sit out. The white ones are already starting to go solid. So just set all this aside out of the way. And I'll show you. So here are some of the white ones. You can see they're already pretty much set. Probably in a few more minutes, well, maybe about a half hour, they'll be firm enough for me to put in the freezer. Okay. Let me just see what you guys are saying here. Hi, Shauna. Oh, yeah, Kiss Pour would look awesome with this. Yeah, Shauna, they're a pain to unmold. Oh my gosh, like they just. It seems like I always lose a layer of soap every time I use them. But if you put them in the freezer first, I'll put them in there like overnight, and in the morning they usually pop right out, and that saved me quite a bit. But yeah, they crack so much. It's like massive pain. Let me scroll up and see what else you guys are saying. Amateur chemist, yes, very very heavily on the amateur. Um, just reading what you're saying here. Ebony and ivory, yeah. Oh, and the design. So, okay, so Shauna, I have a friend that has she raises cows, and she's got all this milk, and she actually makes her own lotion out of the cow milk. So she has like this really super creamy um lotion that she makes, and um when she found out I made soap, she was like, "Hey, can you make soap for me out of the cow's milk?" So that's what I do. I freeze the cow's milk and then make her some soap. So she wanted some facial bars. And so we use tea tree oil and charcoal for these, and then the white ones I showed a minute ago were made with kale and clay because she has some customers that really like the white soaps. Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, she's got some really cute cows. So, um, yeah, so that's why I didn't do like a design like I normally would. There's no swirls. I have I will say that since she likes these oval bars, but she likes swirls and things too. um I've been able to kind of like stretch my horizons a little bit, try to come up with ways of making designs in these little tiny molds. And of course it's really difficult because um normally you would pour the colors into the mold and then swirl them, but since these bars don't get cut, you have to make sure the design is on the outside of the bar, if that makes sense. So I've had to come up with some creative ways to get different colors and different designs. I even tried doing like a wood grain pour in these ovals, and it came out okay. Didn't come out like how I was hoping, but I mean, what are you gonna do? You have a tiny little oval, a little oval cavity like the size, and you're trying to do like a little tiny wood grain pour. It's like without the soap, solidifying on you. Um, yeah, but it came out okay, and we I think we scented those ones with sandalwood. Hey, CCC, how's it going? Thank you, CCC. So glad you stopped in. I hope your baking goes well. Yeah, Merry Christmas. We're just making some soap here for my friend out of her cow milk. I hope you're feeling better. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and watch your videos. I've been working like so much this week. I have to. It's kind of ironic. Around the holidays, I end up getting more busy with my side job, so I haven't had time to really watch anybody's channel. So I'm gonna have to make up for it over the weekend. Oh, good. I'm so glad you feel better. Oh, I can take off the silly thing. Okay, there we go. Now I don't feel like I'm talking into a tin can. I forget, Shauna. Have you made soap with cow's milk yet? Merry Christmas, CCC. It makes really good soap. I definitely would give it a try. I froze my milk. I mean, technically, most people say to do that. I don't know if you really have to, um, but yeah, just freeze it in like little ice cubes and just pour the lye in and make it as usual. But it makes a really creamy soap, especially if you know somebody who has cows or I guess any animal that you normally get milk from, like goats and things. But if you can get the fresh milk, I can definitely say that works out nice. I don't think I've tried it yet with store bought milk, but it would probably work just the same. We also made I think you saw one I showed earlier, but we also made these white ones with kale and clay and a little bit of titanium dioxide, and they still have kind of a creamy look to them, even though I added stuff to make it look more white. Merry Christmas, Stacy. Try the laser pointer and see if he needs food, and he probably just wants attention. Cats can be so demanding. These are taking a little bit longer to set up because I didn't stick blend them as long, but they're thickening up. We'll just wait a little bit longer on these, and then I can stick them in the freezer to get them out of the mold. What's a few more treats? Haha. Totally on the cat's side on that one. Use them, teach him some tricks and use the treats to like reward him for his tricks. And then, you know, you won't feel guilty giving him extra treats because he's working for him. I'm just putting a couple of things away while I'm sitting here. But that is how I make my milk soaps. This is not the only way to make milk soaps. There are lots of ways, and my way is neither right or wrong or the best or the worst. It's just how I do it. You can also use powdered milk. I've done that before, and I don't know. There's a lot of different things you can do to get your milk into soaps. But it's a great way of using up extra milk. If you have milk that you're not going to be able to use before it expires, you can turn it into soap. Um, you can use other things as well. Anything with a milk base, you could probably like eggnog, like the non-alcoholic eggnog. You could probably make into soap, and just the same way as you do with normal milk. Or trying to think of what else that's like milk-like that you could use. There's the empty containers. And then here's that bucket. Oh, and then I use this to measure out the fragrance, the essential oils. I'm just going to wipe down the top here to make sure there's no raw soap left on here. Do you guys have any questions about the milk soaps before we go? What I should have done was had some made and put it in the freezer to show you unmolding them, but I did not have time to do that ahead of time. I'm probably going to be making some more of these over the next week. She liked that Comfort and Joy fragrance that I got from Nurture Soap, and she got some for herself, so we'll make some soaps with that fragrance. That's actually what I was going to make tonight, but I didn't get the fragrance in time to do it. But that's one where we do a swirl. We do like a blue and white swirl. And that can be fun, attempting swirls in these little tiny molds. So yeah, this is something that I do just for like my wholesale accounts. I might make different shaped bars, but the ones in my shop are always those rectangle ones. Oh, we got another strange comment. All right, guys. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and end this here. I need to... Whoops. Having a lot of technical difficulties today for some reason. Okay. Also known as user error. There we go. But yeah, I think I better end this here. I've got to get these soaps to a better spot. And then once I set up, I got to put them in the freezer. I need to clean out these containers and everything. And there is one other thing that we needed to do. I'll do it later. I was gonna show you the soaps, but I'll post pictures since the camera. I keep forgetting this camera doesn't pick up colors, right? And I'll just post the pictures online instead on Instagram. Have a great night, Shauna, and everyone. And everyone have a Merry Christmas. And I will be posting some videos. I don't know if I will do I'm not going to do a live on Saturday because it's going to be Christmas Day, but I think I'm going to do these lives on Saturdays instead of Thursdays, just so it's a little less hectic for me. Um, and then I will just resume my normal um, video schedule for the other days, usually like Mondays and Thursdays or whatever. But yeah, but thanks for hanging out, guys. Yeah, Merry Christmas. I'll see you guys later, and thanks so much for hanging out. It was great having a chat with you. Have a good night.